experience get that. But how you get detail of it and how you contextualize it is something that we need to work on, and I would suggest the internet is a way to start.
Talking about the so-called war on terror, the glimpse of freedom in Afghanistan in the wake of September the 11th seems incredibly brief. The big story seems to be the language used by British and American politicians as propaganda. The truth turned completely on its head.
Yeah. Well, that's right. I mean, the philosopher Hannah Arendt talked about propaganda as power in action. It's basically what the great propaganda states like the Nazis depended on, that if it was repeated over and over again and there was action, then it was true, and it denied all evidence. And if you say this over and over again, then you can create an official truth, which won't be true.
But you say that the people are becoming more aware of state abuses of power and beginning to stand up to it. But in the book, you mention a woman arrested for reading aloud at the cenotaph the names of 97 British soldiers killed in Iraq.
Yes.
How close are we to fascism?
Sorry?
How close are we to fascism?
I think we have to be careful using the word fascism. I think it's too easy to use it. It's too much of an easy, abusive term. I think it's rather more interesting than that. I think there undoubtedly in the United States, there's always been elements of fascism. And certainly what has happened in the last couple of years is the establishment figures, such as the senior CIA man, Ray McGovern, I interviewed in a film a couple of years ago, believed that the United States had fallen quietly, as he put it, to fascism. I'm not sure I'd even agree with him, but it's being debated for the first time openly in the United States, and by constitutional conservatives as well. I've had a recent email correspondence with a man, extraordinary man called Paul Craig Roberts, who was Reagan's number 2 at the Treasury, an editor of the Wall Street Journal. He believes America now is fascist. And he makes his case very well. And he's a conservative. He believes in the Constitution. He believes the Constitution has been usurped, that the 9/11 was a kind of Reichstag, although I think his comparison there needs to be examined. But still, this is being debated now openly for the first time I can remember in many, many years. Probably Norman Mailer had it right when he said not long ago that he believed that America, the United States, was in a pre-fascist period. Now, the way the Blair government has moved against basic freedoms in this country is certainly totalitarian. There's no question about that. The people sitting in Belmarsh or under control orders are no different from victims in totalitarian states.
Let's take some more questions. Is there one down here?
Yeah. I wonder if you could make a distinction between democracy and public opinion, because it seems to me that democracy is something, well, the effect of democracy, we talk about it as if it's something wonderful, and yet what do we do as the public? We vote once in every 5 years or so, and in between that, millions of decisions, important decisions, are being made. But then they also mention, when it comes to public opinion, we keep on hearing about George Bush. Public opinion for him is down. So what? Is it important? Does it mean anything? And how can we move this thing forward? How can we have more power? Because I'm one of many of those people who went down and demonstrated against the war in London. The biggest demonstration ever. Did it have any effect? Well, I'm sure it had some effect. It gave people the feeling that we were doing something in a democratic way. But I'm beginning to lose faith to some extent, because I think unless I get the facts, how can I possibly make informed decisions? And even when I can make informed decisions, where do I go? Because once in 5 years is not good enough to my mind.
No. I can't answer all those questions for you, but I can contribute perhaps a few things. It did have an effect. I can assure you it had a huge effect. Probably, I would think the reason that Iran has not been attacked already is because public opinion is seen by imperial power as a threat. It must be seen as a threat because they expend so many resources, they lie so much, and they devote so much to distraction in order to influence public opinion. Otherwise, why would they? I think a lot of those people